超誕生へ移動しろ。朝鮮人たちが逃げ出す。一匹も残さず全て殺せ。
This story begins by showing the condition of the coal miners on Hashima Island, an offshore mining island located 15 kilometers from Nagasaki. These were Korean workers who were sent down in groups to depths of 800 meters without proper protection or equipment. Everyone was forced to work, including children who were assigned to dig inside narrow tunnels. Even when cave-ins occurred, they still had to keep digging, and no one was allowed to leave before their shift was over. A few years later, in November 1944, with so many children already lost, an elder named Seon-sang tried to help them escape from the island. He gave them directions and explained how they could make it safely back to Korea. During the escape, one of them was caught, while the others managed to get out and swim toward the nearest shore. But just as they were about to reach it, a patrol boat appeared and dragged them under with a net, drowning them. Two months later, in the city of Myeongdong, Korea, an orchestra leader named Lee Kang met with his friend, a police officer. Lee Kang had been caught flirting with the wife of an official, and afraid it would turn into a serious problem, he asked the officer to give him a recommendation letter so he could go to Japan. At that time, the situation in Korea was in chaos. Japan was attacking from all sides, and it was only a matter of time before Korea would fall into Japanese control. On the 12th of February 1945, Lee Kang, his daughter, and the orchestra group boarded a ferry headed for the port of Shimonoseki, Japan. But when they arrived, it turned out that everyone on board, including Kang, had been deceived. They were not allowed to enter Japan, and the recommendation letters were useless. Instead, all the passengers were forcibly transported to the Hashima mining camp. This coal mining island had been owned by Japan for 50 years. The newly arrived Koreans were immediately met with inspections. Everyone was lined up in the yard, and anyone who dared to resist would be beaten. A mining supervisor named Shimazaki then explained all the rules for becoming a worker there. The women would be placed in designated quarters to serve as comfort women for Japanese soldiers or the miners. As for the men, they were given extremely poor living conditions and barely edible food. And even worse, their monthly wages would be deducted to cover the cost of meals, housing, and other expenses. Shimazaki and the other officials were holding a banquet to celebrate the arrival of the newly brought Korean women. In the middle of the music performance, So-hee Lee Kang's daughter looked terrified as she watched the Japanese treat the women however they pleased. Overwhelmed by fear, she climbed onto a table, crying, and confessed that she and her father were the ones playing the song they were listening to. Fortunately, her desperate act managed to catch Shimazaki's attention.
경성에서 악담 활동을 했었어요. 야마무라 가쿠다. 텐노해가 반자이! 반자이!
텐노해가 반자이!
반자이!
Since that night, Kang and his orchestra took on side work, entertaining Japanese soldiers with their music skills. In July 1945, in China, several Korean soldiers were holding a meeting at the Gwangbok Military Training Center. During the meeting, the Korean High Command assigned one of their men, Park Mo, to go to Hashima and rescue Seon-sang. Seon-sang was the leader of the Korea-America Alliance. The Korean military had heard that America was preparing a large-scale bomb to be dropped on Japanese territory, so Seon-sang was needed as a negotiator to help ensure Korea's independence afterward. A month later, Kang's orchestra group was relieved from mining duties, and instead, they performed music at a reception party, welcoming central government officials who came to inspect the mine. Meanwhile, elsewhere, an overloaded coal transport cart suddenly broke loose and sped downhill, crashing into anyone standing on the tracks. The situation turned into complete chaos. Many people were injured, the power went out, and gas leaks occurred everywhere. In the end, because of multiple electrical short circuits, a massive explosion occurred, trapping the miners inside. Amid the panic, the miners, along with Park Mo, who had already managed to enter Hashima, tried to find a way out by detonating the ground, hoping to break through into another tunnel. As a result of the accident, Shimazaki received a warning from headquarters. He apologized and promised to do his best to get the mining operation back on track. As a gesture of gratitude, Shimazaki intended to send Soo-hee away. That night, Kang was summoned and told that his daughter Soo-hee would be adopted and taken to Japan. Of course, Kang couldn't bear to let her go, but he was powerless. All he could do was stay silent and spend whatever time he had left with her. After reuniting with his daughter, Kang was suddenly approached by Park Mo, who asked for help in making a key to the telegraph room. Park Mo knew that Kang had access to workers who could forge keys, and more importantly, Kang frequently went in and out of the communications office. Hearing that, Kang immediately realized that Park Mo intended to contact the outside and escape from Hashima. He took the opportunity to ask that his daughter be included in the escape plan as well. Once everyone agreed, the plan began. First, they obtained the telegraph room key. Then Kang delivered the sketch to one of his friends who could make it. The plan went smoothly, and all the necessary keys were successfully made and handed over to Park Mo. With the keys in hand, Park Mo went straight to the communications office and contacted a ship, telling them to prepare for the extraction mission. The message was answered, stating that the ship would be ready and would most likely arrive in 2 days. After sending the message, Park Mo accidentally noticed a safe. Curious, he opened it and discovered something completely unexpected. That same night, Park Mo woke Seon-seng, claiming that the escape plan would happen immediately. The two of them snuck out, and Kang saw them leaving. Not wanting to be left behind, he quickly went to get his daughter so they could follow. When they reached an empty room, Park Mo revealed that the rescue would not take place that night. He brought Seon-seng there because of what he had found in the safe, proof that Seon-seng had been working with Shimazaki to control the Koreans. It turned out that whenever a worker died, insurance money was sent from headquarters. That was why no escape attempt had ever succeeded every time someone tried to run. Seon-seng reported it to Shimazaki, ensuring they would die, and the insurance payout could be split between them. As the tension rose, Kang and his daughter arrived, along with one of Seon-seng's men. The situation was about to erupt when suddenly, American planes appeared above and began bombing the island. The Koreans and the Japanese officials suddenly panicked, each trying to save themselves. In that chaos, Seon-seng took the opportunity to attack Park Mo, shooting him several times. He also killed his own subordinate, afraid that the Koreans would find out that he had been working with the Japanese all along. The American bombing leveled the buildings, and the surviving Japanese officials soon received news that the attack had been followed by an atomic bombing in Hiroshima, killing more than 100,000 people. Headquarters then ordered them to eliminate all evidence of war crimes by killing every Korean on the island, along with destroying all important documents. At the same time, it turned out Park Mo was still alive, as were Kang and his daughter. The three of them hid and treated the gunshot wounds on Park Mo's body. At daybreak, Seon-seng met with Shimazaki's deputy. He explained that it was now clear Japan would soon fall. The deputy offered Seon-seng a deal. He was to eliminate all the Koreans by burying them alive inside the mine. In return, Seon-seng would be sent to Nagasaki on a coal transport ship that had just been repaired. He was also promised freedom, as long as he kept the forced labor in Hashima a secret. Unbeknownst to them, Park Mo overheard the entire conversation from above the ceiling. That night, Park Mo told Kang everything he had heard. Kang fell into deeper despair and begged Park Mo to escape with his daughter. But Park Mo said he would try to save all the Koreans instead. Meanwhile, Seon-seng gathered the Koreans and announced that leadership was changing. He said that from now on, the miners would receive higher wages and anyone who was injured would be sent back to their hometowns. But there was a condition. Starting tomorrow, everyone would work in the mine, including the children and the women. Park Mo then appeared and told everyone that Seonseng had actually been a traitor all along. He also explained that Japan planned to bury all the Koreans inside the mine. Everyone was confused, unsure of who to believe, until Kang stepped forward to support Park Mo and presented documents proving that the workers' funds had been embezzled by Seonseng. Once the people saw the documents, their trust in Seonseng completely collapsed. Without hesitation, Park Mo struck Seonseng down, slashing his neck and killing him. Afterward, the villagers drew up an escape plan. Though some doubted the rebellion and flight had much chance of success, Park Mo insisted that by working together they could pull it off, and he explained that once preparations were complete, everyone would move in groups along the coal transfer line toward the transport ship. The plan began with assigned tasks for each group. The women would make ropes from cloth to scale the perimeter wall, while the men were tasked with gathering the mining explosives. Kang's group, meanwhile, collected all the bottles to make Molotov bombs. When everything was ready and under Park Mo's orders, everyone began to creep toward the coal transfer line. One by one, the people were lowered toward the transport ship, but soon, unexpectedly, 2 Japanese soldiers discovered them as they queued to pass along the transfer line. The gunfire immediately drew attention, and the mine leaders ordered their men to kill everyone attempting to escape. A firefight broke out. The Koreans did everything they could to hold off the Japanese soldiers. Once the people saw the documents, their trust in Seonseng completely collapsed. As daylight grew, the Koreans fought back with whatever they had, throwing Molotovs and dynamite with all their strength to push back the advancing Japanese soldiers. Meanwhile, Kang and his daughter worked to lift the coal transfer track, joined by the other Koreans. On the other side, the Japanese commander kept ordering his men not to let a single person survive. At that moment, without warning, Kang was shot by the mine supervisor. So he threw a Molotov, setting the commander on fire, and Park Mo finished him off. After the Japanese officers were killed, Park Mo raised a samurai sword to stop the fighting. Everyone fell silent, and the remaining Japanese soldiers could only stand by as the Koreans walked toward the ship and left Hashima behind. In the end, they were able to depart in peace, though their freedom had been paid for with many lives on both sides. A few hours later, Kang's gunshot wounds proved too severe, and he could no longer hold on. Before dying, he asked Park Mo to take care of his daughter.
우리 소희 좀 잘 좀 부탁합시다. 설탕 친 콩국수 한 그릇만 먹여줘. 그거 먹는 게 소원이래.
Moments after Kang's death, the distant impact of bombs could be seen as American forces struck Nagasaki. On the 9th of August 1945, Japan was devastated and ultimately surrendered to the Allies.